Somewhere deep within the labyrinth of his mind, a man carries a mirror he does not know exists. It is not glass, but memory, a reflection built from every woman who ever offered him her attention, her softness, her forgiveness. He has learned, almost unconsciously, to keep it polished by leaning on the pursuit of others. And you, the woman, have been the last, lingering hand to keep that mirror shining. But today, your hands are gone, and he doesn't yet know why the world around him feels colder. There is an ancient rhythm between masculine and feminine, not the superficial choreography of modern romance, but the deep archetypal exchange of anima and animus, the unconscious man seeking the feminine principle to complete his soul. When she chases, when she bends her path to orbit him, his ego swells, not with true love, but with projection. Jung would warn that such projection is dangerous. It blinds him to the soul's work, allowing him to feed on admiration instead of facing his own shadow. And the feminine, when locked in this chase, loses her own ground, mistaking the echo of attention for the sound of belonging. One day, without announcement, the chase ends. It is not an act of cruelty, it is an act of stillness. The woman who once leaned forward now leans back into herself. The calls he never returned are no longer made. The messages once sent into the void are now kept in her pocket, unsent. In that first silence, something stirs in him, not love, not yet, but confusion. The familiar current that carried his ego each day has slowed, and without it, the weight of his own unspoken fears begins to rise. A man unchaste is a man confronted. The shadow, the parts of himself he hides, begins to press against the walls of his mind. He remembers the times he withheld affection, the moments he pulled away without explanation, the careless ways he tested her loyalty. And now, without the constant stream of her reassurance, he must sit with the unspoken truth. Perhaps he was never as irresistible as he believed. Perhaps the power he thought he held was only ever lent to him by her attention. Ego shatters quietly. It is not an explosion. It is a crack, hairline at first, then spreading into every thought. When she no longer orbits him, he feels the cold space between himself and the world. This is where projection collapses. The anima figure he thought she was, perfect, devoted, endlessly forgiving, is gone. In her place is a woman he does not recognize, one who belongs to herself. He passes the cafe where she once waited for him. The table by the window is empty. For a moment his chest tightens, a reflex born from memory. But the emptiness is not at the table, it is inside him. For the first time he realizes she may not be waiting anywhere anymore. That truth is heavier than jealousy. It is the weight of insignificance. When the chase reverses, a man's pursuit is rarely noble at first. It begins with curiosity, then control. He sends a message not because he's ready to give more, but because he wants to see if she will still respond. When the reply doesn't come, or comes days later with no softness, no spark, his world tilts. The old equation is broken. The validation he fed on has been replaced with her absence, and absence is an unkind mirror. The Stoics spoke of self-command, of holding one's inner fortress secure against the weather of others. In the feminine form, this is not coldness. It is a radiant boundary, an unshakable center. She is no longer waiting to be chosen, because she is already chosen by herself. And a man cannot easily enter the gates of a fortress that no longer open at the sound of his voice. In his mind, there was always a script. He pulls away, she comes closer. He offers crumbs, she makes a feast. Now that script is useless. She has stopped performing in his theater, and without her role, the play collapses. He is left standing alone on an empty stage, unsure of who he is without an audience. Every chase is a reenactment of something older. For him, perhaps it was the mother who adored him, but withdrew when he failed to please. For her, perhaps it was the father who was present, but never fully there. These wounds seek each other out, creating the endless loop, one withholding, the other reaching. When she stops reaching, the wound in him is no longer fed, and the wound in her begins to heal. It is here, in the vacuum, that he may feel the first tremors of real love. Not the thrill of possession, but the ache of loss. And for her, it is here that she feels her own reflection returning, sharper, clearer. She no longer bends toward him. She bends toward her own life, her art, her friendships, her quiet mornings unshaken by his silence. This is the individuation Jung spoke of, the becoming whole without borrowing completion from another. If he grows, it will not be because she chased. It will be because she stopped, and in stopping forced him to meet the man in the mirror without her hands to polish it. If he does not grow, she will not notice. She is already gone, already free. For the woman who walks away in silence is not weak. She simply sees more. And what she sees now is herself. Thanks for watching. If this video inspired you, like, share. Subscribe to Ego and Essence for more insights into self-discovery and transformation.